As markets try to figure out the severity of the new variant, they're also trying to game out the potential reaction of the Federal Reserve. Our senior economics reporter, Steve Leisman, joins us with more on that front. And Steve, we feel like we have seen this play out before, and maybe we know the Fed's playbook at this point.
I think it's possible to game it out, Becky. I think that's just what the market's doing. And I think here's where we are right now. Unless convincing evidence emerges before the next Fed meeting that the new variant's a mild one, an accelerated taper is almost certainly off the table, as the Fed will likely not make such a move in the face of the current uncertainty. Ian Shepardson from Pantheon writes over the weekend, if a clearer and reasonably positive picture has not emerged by the time of the December 14 to 15 meeting, then the Fed presumably will delay the decision to accelerate the pace of tapering. Now, this turns the consensus on its head. Just days ago, there was a new consensus. Growth forecasts were rising, job market looked to be accelerating, and there was growing conviction the Fed was worried enough about inflation that it would speed up the taper. Now there are three scenarios being gamed out. In what looks to be the new base case, the Fed would keep the current taper in place while it awaits information and less uncertainty. In the best case, where the variant ends up being contained and perhaps not as bad as Delta, the Fed would revisit the idea of a faster taper in January and then possible rate hikes in the spring or early summer. Of course, there is the worst case where the variant ends up requires a reset of the immunizations around the world to date, and lockdowns were put in place, consumers hold back, and the taper, of course, would halt in that case. Fed futures markets, they've begun to embrace, I think, what is the base case here, with a 41% probability on a May rate hike, dialing back but not completely dialing out the possibility of a faster taper. Of course, Becky, a stronger dollar and lower oil prices give the Fed some leeway in dealing with inflation for now.